Imagine hitting buy now and a product magically appears at your door. Simple, right? But what if I told you that behind every seamless online purchase, there's an intricate, often invisible universe of strategic engineering, cutting-edge technology, and constant adaptation? How many clicks does it really take to turn an idea into a multi-billion-dollar online empire?
That's exactly it. E-commerce doesn't just happen, it's engineered. From business models to cybersecurity, the digital economy runs on strategic thinking, systems, and people who actually know how to build them. Today, we're pulling back the curtain, drawing deep from Laudon and Traver's e-commerce 2023, Business, Technology, Society, to give you the foundational blueprint for navigating this dynamic world.
And it's not just about the tech, is it? It's that blend of business acumen and understanding human behavior that truly engineers success. We're going on a deep dive into the very DNA of online businesses, the different e-commerce business models, and the critical concepts that underpin them. We'll explore the what and the why, bringing in real-world examples and current challenges that are shaping the e-commerce landscape right now in 2025. Our mission: to arm you with the knowledge and skills to not just understand, but actively engineer your own success in this field. Before we fully immerse ourselves, if you're finding value in these insights, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive. It's how we keep bringing you these insider tips that could truly position you for a bright future in your chosen career. And remember, check the description for additional resources that we think you'll find incredibly valuable. So diving into this further, we hear e-commerce everywhere now, but I think many people still picture just, Amazon. What's the real scope of what we're talking about, especially for someone trying to build a business in 2025?
That's a crucial distinction for anyone stepping into the e-business arena. At its most fundamental level, e-commerce is indeed the buying and selling of goods or services over the internet. But to truly grasp it, you really have to see beyond that final click. It encompasses the entire ecosystem surrounding that sale. Everything from the initial spark of an idea to meticulously setting up your online storefront, designing your website for an intuitive user experience, executing targeted marketing campaigns.
Right, the whole journey.
Exactly. Efficiently processing orders and payments, managing complex customer service inquiries, all while navigating, the legal and operational perspectives. Ultimately, it's about strategically expanding your market reach globally and driving profitability, often by leveraging the digital space to reduce those significant costs traditionally associated with a physical retail presence. For you, as an aspiring digital entrepreneur, this means understanding the entire ecosystem, not just the sales front, it's paramount.
That makes perfect sense. So if it's such a broad and complex concept, why isn't there just like one single way to do it? Why do we see this whole alphabet soup of acronyms B2B, C2C, B2G, C2B, D2C, and B2B2C when we talk about e-commerce models?
Well, the diversity you see in e-commerce models isn't accidental. It directly reflects the varied and constantly evolving needs of both businesses and consumers, coupled with the relentless pace of innovation in the digital space. Think of each model as a different strategy to connect buyers and sellers, okay? Each one offers unique advantages. These can range from operational flexibility and significant cost savings to enhanced scalability and unparalleled customer convenience. Factors like shifts in customer preferences, the competitive landscape of a particular industry, the underlying cost structure of a business, and the desired user experience, all these profoundly influence which model is best suited for a business to really thrive. This deep understanding of distinct models is, frankly, fundamental for anyone looking to make strategic decisions in e-business.
Okay, so with that broad understanding of e-commerce, it becomes clear you can't just jump in. It's like building a house. You need a blueprint, right? And Laudon and Traver give us 8 fundamental elements that really act as the foundational puzzle pieces for any successful online venture.
Exactly. And for anyone developing an e-business proposal, these elements are absolutely crucial. They form the backbone for a professional, viable plan. Overlooking even one, well, it can significantly undermine your entire strategy.
So starting with the first piece of the puzzle, the value proposition. I always tell people, if you can't articulate this clearly, you probably don't have a business yet. What problem are you actually solving for your customer? What makes you special, truly unique, in what's often a really crowded market?
This is absolutely where it all begins. Your value proposition is about clearly defining what your product or service delivers to customers that is demonstrably better or maybe faster or more convenient than anyone else. It's about answering that key question: why should a customer choose you over literally everyone else? Is it unparalleled convenience, a wider variety, consistently competitive prices, or maybe an entirely unique selection? Amazon's monumental success, for instance, is largely built on its value proposition of unparalleled selection and convenience, that ability to find almost anything and get it delivered easily.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that.
Right. Or consider Dollar Shave Club. Their value proposition was incredibly simple and compelling. Affordable razors delivered directly to your door, cutting out the hassle of traditional retail. The insight here is not just what you offer, but the perceived benefit that really sets you apart.
Then we get to the revenue model, the big question. How does the cash register actually ring in the digital world, especially when physical products aren't always involved? This is where I think many aspiring entrepreneurs get tripped up thinking it's always just direct sales.
You're right, it's far more nuanced than just selling a widget. There are 5 primary types you really need to know, each with its own mechanics for generating income. First, the advertising revenue model, where you profit from displaying paid advertisements. Think of giants like Google or Facebook or, countless content providers online. Their goal is to attract a large targeted user base to show ads to.
But that takes scale, right?
Huge scale. The strategic insight here for a startup is, well, relying solely on ads requires massive targeted traffic, which can be a real chicken and egg problem. Many new content providers find it unsustainable without a hybrid approach or a very clear niche focus. Second, the subscription revenue model. This is where you charge a recurring fee for access to content or services. Spotify and Netflix are classic examples, as are many news sites. It's all about getting that reliable, recurring revenue stream.
But keeping people subscribed must be tough.
Absolutely. The challenge is reducing churn customers, canceling their subscriptions by continuously delivering value and innovative content. You can't just sit still. Third, the transaction fee revenue model, where you earn a fee for enabling or executing a transaction. eBay takes a cut of every sale. E-Trade charges for stock trades. They're essentially the facilitators. This model thrives on volume and trust, requiring robust platforms and really seamless user experiences to minimize friction in those transactions. Fourth, the sales revenue model, which is probably the most straightforward.
Right.
You directly sell goods, information, or services to consumers. Most online retailers, like Wayfair, fall into this category. This is about direct sales.
The classic online store.
Pretty much. But while it seems simple, success here hinges on effective logistics, competitive pricing, and building a strong brand to drive those direct purchases. And finally, the affiliate revenue model. This is where you receive referral fees, or maybe percentage of sales, by steering business to other sites. This model effectively leverages partnerships to drive sales elsewhere. For you, this can actually be an excellent low-cost entry strategy to e-commerce, but it requires building a platform or an audience that generates significant relevant traffic to your partners. Understanding these distinctions is vital for developing a media content strategy that actually supports your chosen revenue model.
Okay, next up, market opportunity. This feels like mapping your playing field. First, where exactly are you going to set up shop online? That's your market space. Then, how big is the prize? What's the total financial potential within that space? It's about not just finding a niche, but understanding its real-world demand and, I guess, growth potential.
Precisely. This involves 2 critical components. First, identifying the market space, which is the actual or potential commercial value area where your company intends to operate. And second, assessing the market opportunity, which refers to the overall potential financial opportunities available to your firm within that identified market space. It's about not just knowing where you want to sell, but truly understanding the underlying demand for your offering, the competitive landscape, and its potential for growth. Without that clarity, you're essentially launching into the dark.
Okay, so once you know your own value proposition and market opportunity, it's easy to get tunnel vision. But who are you actually up against out there? What does understanding the competitive environment truly entail beyond just, like, listing your rivals?
Oh, it's far more than just a list. This is about thoroughly identifying not just your direct competitors, those selling very similar products to the exact same market, like, Amazon and eBay often do for general retail goods, but also your indirect competitors. These are firms who might offer substitute products or services that fulfill a similar customer need, maybe in a different, perhaps unexpected way. Understanding their strengths, their weaknesses, their pricing strategies, their overall market positioning, that's absolutely key to formulating your own winning strategy. It's about knowing the battlefield and the players so you can strategically differentiate yourself.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Competitive advantage. Once you know your rivals, how do you stand out? What makes you unequivocally better than everyone else, something that's difficult for others to copy? This feels crucial.
This is the unique quality or set of qualities that truly sets your firm apart and gives you an edge that's sustainable. That's the key word again, sustainable. It could be a global market reach that your competitors simply lack, or maybe exceptionally favorable terms you've negotiated with your suppliers that lower your costs significantly. Perhaps you boast a more experienced and innovative management team with proprietary knowledge, or patented products that provide exclusive benefits, or even just a powerful, recognizable brand name that instills deep trust and loyalty. Any asymmetry, anything that gives you more resources, whether that's financial backing, specialized knowledge, or market power than your competitors, can be a significant advantage. Think about the first mover advantage, like Amazon had in online books, right? Being first allowed them to establish dominance and build a massive customer base.
Yeah, but being first isn't always best, is it?
No, absolutely not. Think about how a market follower, like Walmart, entered e-commerce later but leveraged its existing brand, its massive infrastructure, and its supply chain expertise to become a really formidable player. That shows that late entry with a strong existing base can also be a powerful competitive advantage. The goal here is to find what makes you irreplaceable in your customer's mind.
Right. So once you know your value and how you stack up, the market strategy comes into play. How do you effectively tell the world about your business and your unique offerings in what feels like an increasingly noisy digital landscape?
Well, this is your comprehensive plan to promote and differentiate your products and services to attract and retain customers. It's how you get noticed. It could involve forming strategic alliances with other businesses to expand your reach, or maybe executing highly targeted marketing campaigns that speak directly to your ideal customer segments on the platforms they actually frequent.
Okay.
Creating a distinct brand mood and identity is crucial, as is positioning yourself. Are you a one-stop shop for a wide range of needs, or are you a category expert offering extensive customer support and deep product knowledge? Differentiation is absolutely crucial here. You have to cut through the noise and compel action. This element directly ties into developing an appropriate e-business marketing strategy to address a specific business problem, which is a key outcome for students.
Then we have organizational development. This sounds like the internal stuff. Once you have your grand vision, who does what, and how do you structure the team to actually make this e-business vision a reality? It's not just one person, usually.
No, rarely. Organizational development describes the internal structure, the specific tasks, the roles, the reporting relationships within your firm. It's about ensuring you have the right people with the right skills and the right positions, all working cohesively to execute your business plan. Without a well-defined organizational structure, even the most brilliant business model can falter because the operational capacity simply isn't there to support it. It ensures that the firm can effectively execute its plan, from product development right through to customer service, by aligning your human capital with your strategic goals.
And finally, the management team. I've heard countless stories where investors bet on the team more than the idea itself. Who's steering this ship? Their experience, vision, and leadership seem absolutely vital, especially in the volatile world of e-commerce.
Oh, absolutely. The experience and capabilities of your management team are often considered the most important factors, particularly by savvy investors. These are the people who will guide the firm through inevitable challenges, adapt to market shifts, pivot when necessary, and drive towards long-term success. This is also where the discussion of raising capital becomes highly relevant. You might start with seed capital from personal savings or friends and family. Then you might seek angel investors. Those are wealthy individuals who invest their own money, often taking smaller stakes with more favorable terms.
Right. They often bring expertise, too.
Exactly. As you grow, venture capital investors come into play. They manage funds for others, typically seek larger stakes, and usually look for a clear exit strategy within a few years, like an IPO or acquisition. And increasingly, crowdfunding leveraging platforms for donor or rewards-based funding, or more recently, equity crowdfunding enabled by regulatory changes for stock investments, is becoming a viable option for raising initial capital. But ultimately, it all comes back to the team's ability to inspire confidence and execute the plan. Now, it can be tough to put every e-commerce business into a neat box because, honestly, many firms today use hybrid models. Amazon, for example, isn't just an e-tailer, right? It's simultaneously a content provider, a market creator, and a significant infrastructure provider with AWS. But we can identify dominant patterns and categorize them to help you understand the landscape. Understanding these major types of e-commerce business models is crucial for selecting the appropriate one to address a specific business problem you might face.
Okay, let's start with business-to-consumer B2C models. This is probably what most people think of when they hear e-commerce businesses selling directly to us, the consumers, for everything from clothes to groceries, books, you name it.
Indeed. In the B2C space, the decision-making process for consumers is often shorter, especially for lower-value impulse items. This typically translates to, well, less marketing spend per individual sale, although the average order value also tends to be lower compared to, say, B2B transactions. The convenience, the 247 availability, that instant gratification, those are huge drivers in this model, making user experience absolutely paramount. Within B2C, we have the online retailer, or e-tailer. These are essentially online versions of traditional stores, selling physical products directly to consumers. Think of companies like Wayfair for home goods or the direct sales arm of Walmart online. They benefit immensely from round-the-clock availability, an often wider product selection than physical stores, global reach, and generally lower operating costs due to not needing that large physical footprint. Acre Deal, that Bangladeshi online retailer we'll discuss later, exemplifies this by focusing on a low-cost, effective supply chain to offer cheaper rates, a classic B2C e-tailer model. It's like your local grocery store, but, on steroids and accessible from your couch anytime.
Then there are community providers. These are platforms that create online environments for people with shared interests to connect and interact. Social media, right?
Exactly. Social networks are a prime example. They generate revenue often through advertising displayed to their targeted user base, or perhaps by offering premium features for a fee. Consider Reddit, which thrives on those niche communities, or how Foursquare evolved from simple check-ins to leveraging location data for highly specific advertising. The core here is building and maintaining those engaged user communities. Then we have content providers. These firms offer digital content, whether it's news, music, video, or art, directly over the internet. Their revenue streams typically come from subscriptions, like Netflix for movies or Spotify for music, or through advertising models, or even direct sales of digital goods like ebooks or digital art. The New York Times, for instance, has dramatically shifted its revenue model online, reducing reliance on physical newspaper production costs and focusing heavily on digital subscriptions. The challenge, of course, is continually creating high-quality, valuable content to justify that subscription or attract advertisers.
And portals, I feel like those were bigger back in the day, like Yahoo.
Yeah, they were. Portals offer an initial, comprehensive point of entry to the web, providing a wide array of services like search, news, email, and shopping links, usually adopting an advertising revenue model. While less common as general horizontal portals in the U.S. today, though Yahoo and MSN still exist, vertical portals, or VORTals, remain incredibly relevant. Think of ESPN.com for dedicated sports content or WebMD for medical information. They serve specific, deep niches, aggregating relevant information and services for a particular audience. Transaction brokers facilitate transactions between buyers and sellers, typically earning a fee for each completed transaction. This model is prevalent in industries where the intermediary adds significant value, such as financial services or travel bookings. E-Trade, for instance, makes its money by executing stock transactions, and Expedia facilitates travel bookings, taking a cut. A classic example is Sabre, which started as an airline reservation system for travel agencies and later transformed to serve consumers directly through platforms like Travelocity. Their value lies in efficiency, trust, and aggregating options.
Okay, and market creators, like eBay.
It's exactly like eBay. Market creators establish a digital environment where buyers and sellers can meet, display products, search for items, and even negotiate or establish prices. They typically generate revenue from transaction fees. Etsy, with its focus on handcrafted goods, is another great example. These are marketplace models, and they often encompass C2C transactions where consumers sell directly to other consumers. GoAfrica, a B2B marketplace, also fits this model by connecting buyers and suppliers across Africa. Their success really relies on network effects. The more buyers and sellers join, the more valuable the platform becomes for everyone. Finally, we have service providers in the B2C space. These firms offer online services rather than tangible goods. This can cover a vast range, from cloud computing services and online legal advice to graphic design platforms or even telehealth consultations. They monetize their offerings through various fees, subscriptions, or sometimes advertising. The key differentiator here is that the primary service itself is facilitated and delivered online, emphasizing convenience and accessibility.
This is an interesting evolution we're seeing more and more. Direct-to-consumer, or D2C, models. Brands cutting out the middlemen entirely. I remember my first online purchase for something really niche, a very specific type of artisanal coffee. A few years ago, I'd have had to hunt it down in some specialty store. Now, boom, it's D2C, delivered right to my door. It's almost too easy sometimes, isn't it? What's the biggest headache for brands trying to make that leap directly to consumers, though?
You hit on it. The ease for consumers often belies the complexity for the brands themselves. D2C represents a strategic shift where brands sell their products directly to consumers, consciously bypassing traditional retailers and wholesalers. Companies like Dollar Shave Club really pioneered this model, leveraging subscription services brilliantly. The appeal for brands is multifaceted. It gives them full control over the entire customer journey, from initial awareness right through to post-purchase support.
That sounds powerful.
It is. This allows for deeper personalization in messaging and product offerings, and grants invaluable access to first-party customer data, which can inform product development and marketing strategies. And, ultimately, cutting out intermediaries can lead to higher profit margins. However, the biggest headache, and why you see some brands reevaluating or adjusting their strategy, is the escalating customer acquisition cost. Digital advertising, particularly on major platforms, has become significantly more expensive in recent years. This has led some established brands like Nike, for example, to actually reinvest in their retail partnerships, shifting D2C from being maybe a core brand identity to primarily a powerful selling channel within a broader omnichannel strategy. For you, developing a media content strategy for D2C means balancing the allure of that direct connection with the harsh reality of increasing advertising spend and complex logistics management.
Right. Now, while B2C gets a lot of headlines and consumer attention, business to business, B2B e-commerce models are actually much, much larger in terms of transaction volume. What does that look like in the digital world, and what really makes it distinct from selling to individual consumers?
You're absolutely right. B2B e-commerce is the powerhouse behind the scenes, kind of the invisible engine of the global economy. In this model, businesses transact directly with other businesses. The sales cycles are typically longer and more complex than B2C, often involving multiple decision-makers, extensive negotiation, and frequently higher-value contracts or recurring bulk purchases. However, the order values and the frequency of recurring purchases tend to be substantially higher. E-commerce has fundamentally transformed B2B transactions, replacing those archaic processes involving paper catalogs, faxes, and endless phone orders with highly efficient online storefronts, integrated systems, and collaborative platforms. This streamlines operations and enables new levels of collaboration. It's really all about efficiency, cost reduction, and building long-term strategic relationships. Within B2B, the e-distributor model involves companies that supply products and services directly to individual businesses. They often function by providing a single comprehensive online catalog or source for indirect inputs, those items not directly used in production but essential for business operations, like office supplies or maintenance, repair, and operating MRO supplies. Grainger is a classic example, serving as a massive e-distributor of MRO supplies. Their value proposition is consolidation and efficiency for those routine purchases. E-procurement companies, on the other hand, create and sell access to digital markets, designed specifically to streamline the procurement processes for businesses. They offer software solutions that automate buying, manage supplier relationships, and track purchases. Companies using this model generate revenue from transaction fees, network access fees, or by licensing their purchasing software to client businesses, helping them save significant time and money on their purchasing activities. This is all about optimizing a company's entire purchasing workflow.
Okay, and exchanges, how are they different?
Exchanges are independent digital marketplaces that connect hundreds, potentially thousands, of suppliers and buyers in a dynamic, real-time environment. They're designed to facilitate price discovery and transactions efficiently, often within specific industries. They generate revenue primarily through transaction fees. The Go Africa marketplace, which aims to facilitate trade between global buyers and African suppliers, is a prime illustration of a B2B exchange. Think of it almost like a stock market, but for goods and services, where prices can fluctuate rapidly based on supply and demand dynamics. Industry consortia are another form of B2B marketplace, but these are typically industry-owned vertical marketplaces. They are usually controlled by large, influential industry players and focus on fostering long-term relationships and strategic sourcing within a specific sector, like automotive or aerospace. Their revenue often comes from transaction fees or annual subscription fees from participating members. This model emphasizes collaboration, standardization, and often collective bargaining power within an industry, designed to serve the strategic needs of its powerful members. Then there are private B2B networks. These are digital networks designed, owned, and operated by a single large firm specifically to coordinate communications and transactions with its own supply chain partners, its suppliers and distributors. These networks are built to foster extremely close collaboration, optimize inventory levels, and enhance the efficiency of the entire supply chain. Think of how a major automobile manufacturer might use such a proprietary network to manage real-time inventory and orders with its hundreds of part suppliers, ensuring precise just-in-time delivery and drastically reducing holding costs. It's about tight integration.
This last one sounds like a bit of a hybrid. B2B2C, or business to business to consumer. How does this model actually work? And what makes it distinct from, say, just a manufacturer selling to a retailer who then sells to a consumer? Because that sounds similar.
You've hit on a crucial distinction there. The B2B2C model involves businesses selling products or services to other businesses, who then in turn sell that product or service to consumers. What makes it hybrid, and different from simple distribution, is that the end consumer is often aware of the original company or brand, and that brand might even play a role in the consumer experience or marketing. It creates a two-level distribution system that adds a layer of convenience or specialized access for the end consumer. For example, a software company might partner with a bank to offer its financial planning services directly to the bank's customers, with the customers knowing they're using the software provider's tool, perhaps co-branded. Adik Deal, the Bangladeshi retailer, is exploring this by collaborating with local retail shops. This allows Adik Deal to leverage the shop's physical presence to reach new customer segments, make their brand known locally, and reduce last-mile delivery costs effectively using a B2B2C model. It's about leveraging the existing customer trust or infrastructure of the intermediary business to reach the end user more effectively.
It's really clear that e-commerce isn't just an add-on. It fundamentally changes the game. So, what are the big shifts businesses need to grapple with in terms of strategy, structure, and process? It's more than just a new sales channel, right? This goes into the deep operational and even legal perspectives we need to consider.
That's precisely where we connect the dots, moving beyond just the models to the profound implications. This section directly relates to understanding the legal, ethical, social, and political issues raised by e-commerce, and also evaluating different hardware and software e-business platforms needed to support these changes. E-commerce technology impacts everything from how entire industries are organized to how individual firms operate, both internally and externally. Let's start with the impact on industry structure. E-commerce technology isn't just a new way to sell things. It can radically reshape an entire industry. How? Well, it can introduce entirely new substitute products or services that just weren't feasible before, increasing options for consumers. It can also significantly increase the bargaining power for both suppliers and consumers as information becomes much more transparent and accessible online. Furthermore, it can change existing barriers to entry, sometimes lowering them dramatically for new, agile players, other times raising them due to the need for sophisticated technology or massive scale to compete. For example, think about the travel industry again. Online intermediaries like Expedia and Travelocity largely replace traditional travel agents, lowering entry barriers for new online players, but simultaneously increasing competition across the board. The key insight: e-commerce doesn't just digitize existing industries, it often completely remakes them.
And value chains. They sound a bit academic, maybe, but they're incredibly practical when you consider how products and services actually move through an economy, right? How does e-commerce specifically tinker with these established chains?
Absolutely, they're very practical. Think of the industry value chain as the entire sequence of activities that takes raw materials all the way to the final product in the hands of the consumer. This encompasses suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and customers across a whole industry. Then, firm value chains are the primary activities, like inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing, sales, and customer service, and the support activities within a single company. E-commerce can drastically reduce costs at nearly every single stage of both these chains. For instance, manufacturers can now deal directly with customers online, potentially cutting out distributors and retailers entirely if they choose. Or, e-commerce enables retailers to develop incredibly efficient, data-driven customer relationship management (CRM) systems that strengthen their connection with buyers and improve service. The real power is in optimizing these steps, making them faster, cheaper, and much more responsive to actual demand. Beyond those linear chains, we also see the emergence of firm value webs. This concept highlights how firms can coordinate and collaborate much more easily and flexibly with their strategic partners, suppliers, and customers through internet-enabled networks. Instead of a rigid, linear sequence, a value web allows for dynamic, multi-directional collaboration. A classic example is the design of the Boeing 777 airplane, which involved concurrent engineering with teams of customers and suppliers working together through network systems, significantly reducing development time and improving the final product. It's about recognizing that modern business success isn't just about internal efficiency, but increasingly about hyper-efficient external collaboration.
Okay, with all these fundamental changes swirling around, how do businesses strategically position themselves for profit and long-term success in the digital age? What are the overarching business strategies that tend to define a winner?
Well, there are 5 generic strategies that firms can employ, or sometimes blend, to achieve a profitable business in this dynamic environment. First, differentiation. This involves setting your firm or product apart with unique properties, features, or an unparalleled customer experience. Think Apple's ecosystem and brand experience, making yourself stand out. Second, cost competition. Here, the goal is to achieve lower operational costs than your rivals, allowing you to offer lower prices while still maintaining a healthy profit margin. Think Dell's original build-to-order model, or Acre-Deal's relentless focus on a low-cost-oriented supply chain. Third, the scope strategy. This means you decide to compete in all markets, aiming for a global presence rather than just local or regional segments, really leveraging the internet's borderless nature. Fourth, a focus or market niche strategy. This is where you intentionally compete within a very narrow market segment or product category, becoming the expert or go-to source. Etsy focusing on unique handmade goods is a great example. And finally, customer intimacy. This involves developing incredibly strong ties with your customers to increase their switching costs. How? Through highly personalized services, effective loyalty programs, or just a deep understanding of their individual needs, making them feel truly valued and understood. We also absolutely need to talk about digital disruption. E-commerce technologies are often disruptive technologies, meaning they are new and innovative technologies that become the core of radical change within an industry. They fundamentally overturn older, sustaining technologies that merely support existing business models. This isn't just incremental improvement, it's revolutionary. It can drive incumbent firms completely out of business and, crucially, create entirely new industries that didn't exist before. A classic historical example is how digital photography utterly disrupted the traditional film industry, rendering major players like Kodak in its original form obsolete almost overnight. For you as a student or entrepreneur, this means always being aware of emerging tech that could fundamentally change your market or create entirely new opportunities.
This is where the rubber really meets the road, I think. We've talked about models and strategies, but how does e-business practically integrate with something as complex as a supply chain? We have that fascinating case study in our sources about a Bangladeshi company called H.Schuessler. I'm really curious how they marry their digital strategy with the physical movement of goods day to day.
Yes, the H.Schuessler case. It's a perfect illustration of how e-business acts as a key enabler for supply chain integration, especially when the primary strategic goal is aggressive cost efficiency. It really touches on how to identify trends in supply chain management and how to evaluate different hardware and software platforms' key learning outcomes. Understanding their approach and its challenges provides invaluable real-world context for actually creating and operating an electronically based business. E-business fundamentally drives supply chain integration across several critical dimensions. The first is information integration. This is absolutely crucial for having a unified view of product flow and cash flow throughout the entire supply chain. A Traver deal, for instance, focuses on sharing information with its external vendors, which is good. But the case suggests they could significantly improve by giving those suppliers access to their internal demand networks. Why? To proactively prevent stock shortages before they happen.
So, better visibility for everyone.
Exactly. Second, there's synchronized planning. This means joint design and execution of plans for things like product launches, demand forecasting, and inventory replenishment. It's about mutual agreement based on shared information, ensuring all partners are aligned to meet buyer requirements seamlessly and efficiently. Third, coordinated workflow. This involves automating and streamlining workflow events between supply chain partners, from the procurement processes all the way to final delivery confirmation. This makes processes far more cost-effective, efficient, and significantly less prone to errors. And finally, as we touched on, e-commerce can enable entirely new business models, such as mass customization or penetrating entirely new market segments like those B2B2C opportunities H.Schuessler is exploring.
So how does H.Schuessler put these principles into practice, particularly with their aggressive low-cost strategy? And what lessons can we really extract about the technical and business considerations for creating and operating an electronically based business from their example?
Well, their operational model provides a really rich example of both successes and, frankly, areas for improvement. Let's break it down. In procurement, H.Schuessler deals directly with manufacturers. This is a deliberate move to eliminate middlemen and their associated costs. Smart. They even employ vendor-managed inventory, VMI, where suppliers actually manage H.Schuessler's stock levels based on data shared from H.Schuessler's AD systems. This directly reduces H.Schuessler's inventory holding costs and risk, enabling lower prices for customers. This showcases both backward integration, dealing directly with manufacturers, and a form of horizontal integration through collaboration. They also leverage their significant buying power to push suppliers to continuously improve their manufacturing and business processes, ensuring ongoing efficiency and cost reduction. For order processing, H.Schuessler utilizes integrated technology. They use stock-keeping units, or SKUs, which are scanned and connected to a retail network system. This provides real-time data to both vendors and suppliers, informing them about what products are selling and what quantities and which items need replenishment. This allows for collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment, often called CBFR, helping streamline operations and keep costs low. This is crucial for their focus on methodologies like Six Sigma, Total Quality Management, TQM, and lean production, constantly pushing suppliers for efficiency improvements.
Okay, and inventory, how do they manage that physically?
In terms of inventory, H.Schuessler uses pretty cutting-edge monitoring via point of sales, or POS, systems to track real-time stock and sales data. This apparently results in more accurate sales forecasts than many of their rivals. For further enhancements, the case study recommendations suggest adopting things like voice-based order filling, VOF, where workers receive verbal instructions through headsets for picking items in distribution facilities, improving speed and accuracy in BCIS, massively parallel processors, MPPs, powerful computer systems designed to handle huge data sets simultaneously for better inventory movement tracking. A more integrated retail network system, or deeper vendor-managed inventory, is also suggested to integrate suppliers more deeply into their stock management, enabling more proactive responses to demand fluctuations. Their logistics facilities network is quite extensive. We're talking 140 centers totaling 100 million square feet, including general merchandise, grocery, fashion, and import delivery points. H.Schuessler strategically places these delivery points near stores to reduce the average delivery distance, which makes sense. However, they face challenges. For instance, some warehouses are located in crowded urban areas where large trucks are prohibited during daytime hours, leading to higher costs from night operations and potential delays. Recommendations include performing a multi-criteria decision analysis for future facility location, perhaps setting warehouses outside cities to allow for more strategically placed distribution centers within cities, and implementing optimized multimodal transportation systems.
And the information flow itself, you mentioned potential issues there.
Right, regarding their information system. While H.Schuessler focuses on sharing external sales data with vendors, the case points out that suppliers currently lack access to H.Schuessler's internal supply and demand networks across their whole system. This communication gap often leads to stockouts in some warehouses, while others might have over-inventory, ultimately leading to customer dissatisfaction due to delayed deliveries. The recommendation is clear. Build a comprehensive information sharing program, perhaps called a retail network system, and crucially, implement RFID, radio frequency identification technology, throughout the supply chain. This would provide real-time merchandise tracking from factory to shelf, allowing suppliers to proactively design their production schedules and significantly improve customer satisfaction by ensuring product availability when and where it's needed. And then there's H.Schuessler's current transportation system. Currently, they rely on third-party logistics, 3PLs, for raw material transportation and for finished goods delivery to their warehouses. However, for transfers from warehouses to distribution centers and onward to retail stores or pickup points, they use their own vehicle fleet. This leads to inefficiencies, partly due to those crowded city warehouse locations requiring nighttime deliveries, incurring additional waiting costs. Furthermore, using a uniform vehicle model for all types of loads, from large warehouse-to-warehouse transfers down to small retail deliveries, is inherently inefficient. The recommended multimodal system suggests a tiered approach, using large mother vehicles for bulk transfers between warehouses, medium vehicles for distribution center deliveries, and small delivery vans for the final last-mile retail and pickup point deliveries. This tiered approach aims to reduce fuel costs, enhance overall efficiency, and minimize transportation expenses, all absolutely critical for maintaining their low-cost strategy.
Wow, that's incredibly detailed. It really shows how e-commerce isn't just the website, it's this whole complex physical and informational system behind it. But okay, this is all incredibly exciting, seeing how e-commerce operates at such a detailed level. But the digital frontier isn't without its obstacles, is it? What are the biggest challenges businesses face in e-commerce today, and how has marketing had to evolve to meet these new realities? It seems like a constant game of whack-a-mole sometimes.
It truly is a dynamic environment, and these challenges directly relate back to those learning outcomes about assessing key security issues, developing effective marketing strategies, and evaluating the legal and ethical issues in e-commerce. The digital landscape offers immense opportunity, but also intense competition and rapidly evolving complexities. Let's maybe zoom in on a few of the most critical challenges facing e-commerce businesses right now, based on insights from Pimberly and Verpex and our core text. First, hyper-competition and the rising cost of customer acquisition. The sheer proliferation of online ventures means that, honestly, unless you're selling something truly unique, you face fierce rivals. A few rivals is an understatement sometimes. This directly drives up the cost of attracting new customers through digital advertising platforms. Businesses have to constantly upgrade their offerings, find new sales methods, and innovate relentlessly just to stand out in a very crowded market. Building website traffic, converting that traffic into sales, and then earning customer loyalty are now constant and increasingly expensive battles.
Yeah, getting noticed seems harder than ever.
It is. Second, operational complexities and supply chain resilience. Moving physical products from a warehouse to someone's door quickly and cost-effectively is incredibly challenging, as the H.Acre deal case showed. We're talking about managing reverse logistics at staggering, nearly 30% average return rate for online purchases efficiently. An effective return procedure isn't just operational, it's crucial for customer confidence. Then there's fulfilling timely orders, which is influenced by product type, company strategy, and often relies heavily on third-party shipping partners and strategic warehouse placement. And as we've seen with global events, the critical need for supply chain resilience is paramount. This demands contingency plans, diversified suppliers, and real-time tracking technology to manage disruptions, a vital skill for modern e-business professionals. Expanding globally. Cross-border e-commerce adds layers of complexity with navigating tax regulations, currency fluctuations, and logistical hurdles. Partnering with global shippers and offering localized payment options becomes key. Third, navigating the tech tsunami. AI, automation, and adaptation. Implementing AI-powered chatbots, sophisticated recommendation engines, and automated supply chains effectively is a huge technical and strategic hurdle. The promise is efficiency, personalization, and competitive advantage. But the complexity of integrating these new technologies smoothly without losing a necessary human touch is significant. Plus, the need to constantly adopt modern technology just to avoid falling behind competitors requires continuous evolving skills from online business owners and their teams. Finding the right fluid and effective tools, maybe an all-in-one platform like Shopify to Beautify, or specialized solutions to automate repetitive processes and provide helpful data, is a constant quest.
And security must be a massive one, too.
Fourth, and perhaps most critically, delivering a secure, personalized omni-channel customer experience. Customers today expect seamless, consistent interactions across all touchpoints: social media, marketplaces, your website, mobile apps, even voice assistants. It has to feel like one brand, one experience. This requires sophisticated personalization to provide immersive online experiences, allowing close product interaction and retail customized recommendations based on preferences. But this personalization and data collection comes with massive challenges like identity verification to combat customer fraud and identity theft, false identities, stolen credit cards. It's costly and time-consuming, but essential. Solutions involve biometrics, AI fraud detection, single sign-on, two-factor authorization, and overarching all of this is cybersecurity threats and data privacy. With rising risks from phishing scams, fraudulent transactions, and data breaches, building robust security protocols and ensuring compliance with privacy regulations like GDPR or CCPA is absolutely paramount. It's a core legal and ethical consideration. Things like decreasing shopping cart abandonment by streamlining checkout, offering flexible delivery options, and building user-friendly, optimized, visually appealing websites with clear calls to action, CTAs, are all part of this complex puzzle of creating an ideal, secure customer experience.
Okay, so beyond these operational and security challenges, how has e-commerce fundamentally reshaped how businesses market themselves? It feels like it's been a complete overhaul, hasn't it? The rules seem to be rewritten almost every year.
Oh, it's been absolutely revolutionary. It's empowered consumers like never before and demands continuous innovation for marketers. The shifts are profound. First, increased data availability and hyper-personalization. E-commerce platforms gather truly vast amounts of data on customer behavior, their preferences, their purchasing patterns. This isn't just data for data's sake. It enables powerful predictive analytics for enhanced targeting and deep personalization. This leads to highly customized shopping experiences, targeted ads, personalized emails, things that significantly increase engagement and conversion rates. Think about how Netflix or Amazon seems to know exactly what you might want to watch or buy next. That's data-driven personalization at work.
It can be a bit creepy sometimes, but effective.
Yes, there's definitely a line there. Second, the rise of digital-first marketing and global reach. Search engine optimization, SEO, pay-per-click, BPC, advertising, email marketing, and social media marketing, often with integrated shopping features now, have become fundamental, often replacing large chunks of traditional advertising budgets. E-commerce truly breaks down geographical barriers, allowing even small businesses to access global markets, though, as we said, this demands careful cultural and regulatory adaptation. And while digital marketing can be more cost-effective than traditional methods, especially because analytics allow for continuous optimization of spending, it's really worth noting that due to the intense competition we discussed, overall digital marketing costs are increasing significantly. Third, consumer empowerment and the need for real-time engagement. The power has undeniably shifted to the consumer. They can easily compare products, read dozens of reviews, shop for the best prices, anywhere, anytime, often on their phone. Brands must now build trust through engaging content, transparent practices, especially around sustainability and ethics, which modern consumers care about, and incredibly responsive customer service. This has also fostered real-time marketing. The immediacy of e-commerce allows businesses to instantly adjust offers, launch flash sales, change marketing messages in response to current events or competitor actions, or react to social media trends. Case studies like Nike, using personalized recommendations in AR for virtual try-ons, or Dollar Shave Club's legendary viral video campaigns combined with their subscription model, and Alibaba's massive cross-border platforms connecting global buyers and sellers. These all demonstrate these incredible marketing transformations in action.
So what's next? Where is e-commerce marketing heading?
Looking ahead, we'll see even deeper integration of AI and machine learning, not just for personalization, but for optimizing inventory management, dynamic pricing strategies, and increasingly sophisticated chatbots for customer service. Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, will continue to transform product visualization. Think virtual try-ons for clothing or makeup, or visualizing how a piece of furniture looks in your actual living room using your phone's camera. This helps bridge that gap between online browsing and the physical experience. The Internet of Things, IoT, holds potential too, enabling smart devices in our homes, think refrigerators or printers, to autonomously reorder consumables, ensuring we never run out, blurring the lines between selling a product and providing an ongoing service. Blockchain technology is also poised to enhance transaction transparency and trust, potentially revolutionizing areas like supply chain accountability, proving ethical sourcing, and verifying the authenticity of luxury goods. And lastly, voice commerce searching and purchasing using smart assistants like Alexa and Google Assistant is also set for significant growth, changing how we interact with e-commerce platforms entirely. These are the trends that will continue to reshape how you, as students, need to think about developing media content strategies and overall e-business plans.
Wow, what a deep dive. We've journeyed from the fundamental definition of e-commerce all the way through the intricate 8 elements of a solid business model. We've explored the diverse B2C and B2B landscapes, including those newer models like D2C and B2B2C. We've seen how e-commerce fundamentally reshapes industry structures and value chains, and even examined a real-world company, H.Schuessler deal, through the critical lens of supply chain integration. And we unmasked the significant challenges facing e-commerce businesses today and the truly revolutionary ways marketing has had to transform. The big takeaway for me, e-commerce is absolutely not just buying and selling online. It's a meticulously engineered system, constantly evolving, constantly adapting.
Indeed, that seemingly simple buy now button we started with, it's powered by just layers upon layers of strategic decisions, constant technological innovation, and a really deep understanding of market dynamics and customer behavior. It's a testament to that blend of business acumen and technical expertise that really defines success in the digital age.
Absolutely. If you found this exploration valuable and want to continue getting these strategic insights, don't forget to like this deep dive, subscribe for more content, and maybe share it with someone else who could benefit from understanding this stuff. And as always, check the description below for even more resources to deepen your understanding of e-commerce models and strategies.
And maybe leave you with this thought. Think about the digital products and services you consume every single day. Which business models do you think they rely on most heavily, and how might they evolve with these emerging technologies we just discussed, like AI and AR? Every transaction, every connection, every innovation, it all starts with someone who understands the system behind the screen. Until next time, stay curious, stay strategic, and keep turning complexity into opportunity.